Hello and welcome to the Martin Talk Show. I'm joined today by Piotr and my co-host Jake. We're really
Hi, Piotr.
excited.
Hello, Jake, and hello,
Hi.
Martin.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm really excited to talk to you about your show, which you're taking to the Edinburgh Fringe.
Thank you.
Improbiotics presents artificial reality.
Oh, I love it because you actually made the very first jarring mistake that everyone makes with our name. It's not biotics like probiotics, the thing that the gut medicine. No, it's botics like robotics,
Like
robots.
Robots, of course it is. Of course it is.
So it's improbotics, yes.
But the impro bit there is for there's lots of improvisation in this show, I understand.
Yes, there is. And there are many kinds of improvisation. There is, first of all, the human improvisation, because there are 5 to 7 actors on stage taking audience suggestions and staying in the character of one of the contestants of a reality TV show with all their peculiarities and oddness. That's delightful. And then playing various sorts of long-form and short-form improv games during the show. But there's also the technology. There is AI. That's actually a tool that we use to kind of challenge ourselves in our practice and to bring out some crazy energy and very surprising sometimes answers. And so that's also improvising with us. And there's one last bit of improvisation, which is basically you're going to watch people trying to fix tech issues live on stage and make it work magically somehow.
Wow.
Improvisation, which is like problem solving in real time. So yes.
You're a huge fan of improvisation, aren't you, Jake? You love a dive in there, don't you?
I just think it's really cool because I think that, being an actor and a performer is one thing. It's quite a tricky thing to do. But then to add in the element of surprise that not only does the audience not know what's going to happen, the actors don't either. But it's got really popular recently, hasn't it? There's been a lot of kind of news and new big pieces of improv because there's in London there's the Jane Austen improv show as well. It's becoming really popular, isn't it?
Yeah, and there is a showstopper. They improvise a 2-hour musical if you're lucky to catch them on West End, and they have a 70-minute version of that in Edinburgh.
Wow.
And so this sounds also like a show of the moment, a show of the age. This is really significant right now, AI, isn't it? It's here, it's now, it's not going anywhere, and it's headline news every single day. Something new is coming along.
Yes, tell me something about it. So I actually, in my day job, I work in AI, and I'm trying desperately to try to rein it in. And inject some, human values and participation in how we build it. And I go on vacation. I open the Guardian, and it's AI on the first page every single day. There's no way to escape it.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your day job then, and how that's influencing your creativity and what you're doing here with your show.
Yeah. So I've basically been doing improv for the past 25 years. I think I started back in France in 99 in French, but it's also when I started studying computer science, and the two kept separate tracks, improvising at night, doing theater at night. I was in New York for 10 years. I was part of the Inwood Shakespeare Festival, among others. I was doing improv comedy in hospices and nursing homes, which was fantastic to actually learn how to improvise with the audience and really do a show with them and empathize. And at the same time, I was doing a PhD in computer science back in the days where the word AI was a dirty word. 20 years ago, because it didn't work. Nobody believed in it. Today, it's a dirty word again because it works too well. And everyone is just fed up with it. And there was this strange thing that happened in between where suddenly it became a big thing. And so I've been working as a research scientist, building various AI systems, including weather forecasting, which is actually a very good useful application of AI. And I've been doing more recently human-computer interaction, which is basically the study of how we can use those systems in a way that upholds our values. But then 10 years ago, I had this strange idea. I was doing improv at night. And, in improv, what you try to do is to become spontaneous. Mm-hmm. It's very hard because we've been socialized not to be spontaneous, to edit ourselves, to censor ourselves. And all improv is about is really to become a child again, a 6-year-old child who can say the first thing that comes to them on their mind. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that, the systems I was building, which were just using patterns and looking at the most likely thing that comes after, like, next word prediction, right? What's the next word that follows? And it ends up with those auto-completion. They do it very easily. Okay, that's an interesting observation. So what can I do with it? How about I bring a predictive text system and I build it myself first and I bring it on a comedy stage to do improv with it. So I did that 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. I met a friend, Corey Mathewson, who had the same idea. He was at the Rapid Fire Theatre in Edmonton, Alberta, while doing a PhD in robotics. And we became best friends. And we started this company called Improbotics. And his PhD thesis actually switched from being robotics to being Improbotics, like literally working on that thing, like studying how we interact and doing shows. And his motivation was, in improv, you are trying to look good on stage, but the most important thing is actually to make your stage partner look good on stage. Mm-hmm. Your stage making them funny. You provide the setup, they give a punchline. And okay, he wanted to try it with a robot, with a language model. And so that was his motivation. And so we've been doing shows, and then we created this big company. We casted people, and I was doing casting in London, and someone flew in from Stockholm to do the audition. Okay, well, why don't you start Improbotics Stockholm? Because you're fantastic. And then we expanded, and we've been doing this. We did 250 shows the past 10 years. Wow. And technology has changed radically over those 10 years. Yeah, you've seen that, right? Yeah,
we've seen how it's changed in the last year. It's the leaps and bounds in which it is taking now. A lot of people are finding it quite fearful. Yeah. And at a space like the Edinburgh Fringe, I'm talking to a lot of people that are anti-AI, that are against it, because they're scared and worried that it's going to take away from human creativity, that it's going to devalue what we offer to the world even more. Yeah. How do you, someone that's so deeply involved with AI, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's a mixture of feelings. I mean, it goes from shame to excitement to hope. I think what happens is that there are communities who don't talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of bridge building that needs to be done. So I'm trying to do that in my day job, to take the perspectives of the artists and to make sure that they are actually embedded in the systems that are being built. Mm-hmm. And to give voice and control over to the artists. And when I'm coming on stage with technology, I want to attract the attention of the fact that theater and improv is already very deeply technological. Mm-hmm. And there is something that we do as improvisers, which we often call it like building a plane in mid-flight. And there is an aspect of technology which is like hacking, crafting things, like making stuff up. Mm-hmm. And it's vulnerable. It doesn't always work. And I can give you an anecdote. 2 days ago, in London, I ran with Heather Knight, Dr. Heather Knight, a comedian and roboticist who did the first stand-up comedy with a robot in 2010. And she has TED Talks about it. So we did the Robot Fringe. So Robot Fringe meant that there were groups of nerds and comedians and actors who came on stage. We had 9 groups, and that meant 15 robots and 15 humans in the space of 2 hours. And you know what we do at the beginning of every single show? I would like everyone to take a deep breath and lower your expectations because technology is going to fail. But there is one thing that should not fail and that doesn't fail is the humans behind it. We manage to just work our way through and, okay, doesn't work, doesn't matter, just put it aside, take something new and fix it. And there is an element of virtuosity if we're in working with technology and working with instruments, with tools on stage. And that's really what drives me alongside working with empathizing with the audience of my actors. And so I want to convey that message that, yeah, you have this new tool called AI. It's a dual-use tool. You can do the worst of it. You can replace yourself, replace others, or you can just use it as something straight on the side that challenges you, prompts you. So you're no longer the one who's prompting AI. No, it's AI who prompts you to do something new, and that's what excites me.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Do you think that, sorry, Martin, do you think
Go
that
ahead, Jake.
maybe coming to your show could help people be less afraid of AI?
I think so. I mean, I hope so. We did, and I'm speaking like a scientist, so I'm not going to give, oh, of course, yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. It's, I'm being very mild here. I'm going to show you data instead. So we actually, I'm not kidding.
Theories.
Super nerdy, yes. So in the first Edinburgh Fringe we did as Improbotics in 2023, we actually ran audience surveys. We did a study and we published a paper after the Fringe on the audience perception and actors' perception of AI. And two things that audiences noted was that they were laughing at how we humans are challenged and overcome limitations of AI. So they were laughing with us, trying to solve a problem, more than laughing at the robot or laughing at us, which was good, right? I mean, that's what you want as a comedian on stage.
Yeah.
And the second takeaway was that they felt more positive about potentially using this as a tool for creativity, but less optimistic about it being a creative storyteller by itself. So, which is also a message we want to convey. Like, here's a tool. You could use VR. You could use projections. You could use live music. You could use, I don't know, a chatbot that's blubbering nonsense, and you react to it. And that's one more tool in your creative pocket.
I wonder if it's like when we invented the calculator. There was it simply is a way to formulate stuff for us.
Yeah.
But it's that there is an opportunity to go too far with AI, isn't there? There's an opportunity where it could start to take things away from us. So how do you think you're a creative yourself, how do you think us as creatives should take ownership of our own work and just keep it as that tool?
Well, I mean, there is a bit of self-discipline to be had here, I think. And that's for everyone, right? There's a temptation to just delegate your work, delegate your thinking to that tool, but it has a short-time payoff. Oh, you're being more productive. Oh, you got the thing done. Oh, look, I have a press release. I have my letter to my landlord. Okay, this one actually nobody cares. This one you can delegate to AI.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it's things like writing a book or
Yeah.
creating a painting or
Yeah.
writing a script. Those are the things those are the shortcuts that some creatives are taking.
Yeah.
Some people are going, right, they're releasing a book. They're releasing 10 books on Amazon in a month.
Okay, but
Well, what value does that have?
who actually wants to read them? I mean, one thing, you're going to Edinburgh Fringe, right? There are 4,000 shows. And of course, not all of those shows are, many of those shows are telling the same story, kind of, right? But at the same time, every single show is unique. Every single show is worth watching. Because what's worth watching is that person's lived experience and what they made out of it. So I don't know how many times I've seen Romeo and Juliet. I mean, I've seen West Side Story, the two big film versions. I've seen Gustavo Dudamel on directing the music of West Side Story with the kids from Caracas. I've seen the ballet. every single one of them, and every single presentation, every single performance is different. I sometimes go and see the same opera 3 times over a few years, just because, even if the same production, just because, yeah, it's going to be different. There's going to be a different way it can fail, and it's going to be delightful. And you're watching that because of every single person is bringing their humanity and their own lived experience into this. So that's what I want to see on stage. I don't care about subcontracting work to something. I mean, if it was not AI, if someone was just asking to ghostwrite the book, I would have the same thing, the same feeling. Like, why don't you put the name of that ghostwriter on the book instead?
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. And we've talked to a couple of people who, creatives like yourself, are going to the Fringe, and they had a similar thought, which is that it can be used as a tool because it's here to stay now. You know, we can't close the lid on the box. It's open, it's out. So it's about people like you teaching us how we can live with it in a healthy way and integrate it into society in a healthy way. Because as you said, the books that are written by AI and, you know, the posters that are made with AI, people are going to see through it. Then it lacks the human element, doesn't it? It lacks the human creativity, which is what makes people like you, other creatives like you, so cool. So I guess it's cool to see it merging with creatives like yourself, and it's cool to see it take on that new life and actually fuel your creativity rather than take away from it. I wonder that my question was going to be, I've met a few people in the past couple of years doing this podcast. We've had kids on the podcast, and we've had people of all ages and all backgrounds. Is there a type of audience that you think is the best kind of audience to do an improv show with? Is there a best age group that really respond to improv really well, or a particular group of people? Do they need to be really drunk to be really good at coming up with cool suggestions? What's your favorite kind of gig or audience to do?
Yeah, so we had a kid show for the past 2 fringes. Not this one, but the past 2 fringes. And that's led by Dr. Boyd Runge, who is at Improbotics. And he's also like a lecturer at University of the Arts in Winchester School of the Art. And he's been doing parts of like AI for conflict resolution and in war zones and things like that as well.
Oh, wow.
And also like for scientists, which is kind of being like in a war zone, if you think about it. Sometimes it's traumatizing. But anyway, he's been approaching this from the point of view of theater of the absurd. Theater of the oppressed. Gustavo Boal. So, you know, like you do a show with the stakeholders. And so he's doing the show with the kids. And the show that he was doing was, I was part of it. And the cast of Improbotics were part of it. But it was like the kids were making a film. And that was really, really cool because they initially were taking those little roles, holding the clapper, holding the camera, shouting, cut, and but also acting, and they were very, very, very easily getting into it. And that was an age group of 8 to 12. We also had like slightly younger, slightly older, and it really worked well. So that's a good group. And then I think that a lot of improv is done and watched with very moderate amount of alcohol intake. I would say that a midnight show has this very strange manic energy that some can sustain, that there is very good improv at 6 p.m., you know, or even at 2 p.m. So, and the improv classes, we do them sober, generally, and we are releasing our creativity. We need some warm-up. But there is, it can appeal to pretty much anyone. There is some, you know, limitations you need to overcome, like your own self-censorship, your own self-control, to relinquish the gift of accepting the offers of others and sharing those offers themselves. That happens if you are feeling friendly and trustful of your stage partner.
So tell
But
me a little bit more about improv then, and you said that you mentioned roadmap there. There is some kind of rules in which we go in, but it seems such a place where you're so free. It seems when I watch improv that you never know what's going to happen next, and there's a different state of freedom for those artists in that space, isn't there? But it still does have some structure. It still does have a roadmap.
yeah, that structure is what helps you knowing where you are. So, for instance, when we do narrative long form, narrative storytelling, we just follow, I'm going to be very technical, we follow a Freytag pyramid. Ooh. It's basically the classic thing in Western storytelling, where you start with an inciting incident. So, once upon a time, rebel something until one day, that's the inciting incident. And then, and because of that, and because of that, and because of that, so these are this rising action, things happen, it reaches the climax. And then, and after that, and there's a falling action, it comes to a conclusion and to a resolution and a denouement, and ever since then. So we have that structure in our mind because of the stories we've heard, with stories we've read and told, and so people on stage are kind of actively thinking, okay, so who's the protagonist? That should be the protagonist. So now we know that everyone else should be supporting them to achieve their goal. And they need to change. The protagonists need to change. And it's good also if the other characters change as well. So that's a kind of structure we inject ourselves when we are on the sidelines or even in the scene. But then when we are interacting with a stage partner, we should get out of our head, which is a very strange thing to say. I've been doing Meissner, and the teacher kept telling us, stop thinking. What? Stop thinking. Listen to your stage partner. Watch in front of you. Watch the audience. They are there. They have the answer that you need to. They take the energy from them, the inspiration. So when you're in the scene, you are like little bit less in your head, and you do the thing, and then you go back and then, okay, so where we are now? Oh yeah, we are. Okay, so now that's the next bit. So that's one structure. Some of them, like you mentioned, ostentatious, and I mentioned showstopper. Yeah, I mean they may have a host that gives a lot of structure to know exactly when you get his suggestions. And musicians also are very supportive. There's a lot of support coming from others, from people. You don't have to carry the weight on yourself, on your back. The musician on the side is listening actively, and then, oh, little highlight on the piano. That's the beginning of a deeper discussion. So now, just go for your emotions. Now go into a song. Don't add to the plot. No. Now you are going to say how you feel about each other and how you feel about yourself.
I think that's often how we find ourselves in this space, isn't it, Jake? When we're with guests on the podcast, we find ourselves in a place where we're listening to others and reacting to others, don't we? And we give each other that support. And it's very much what you're describing there is actually how we all interact with each other in the real world in
Yeah.
communities, is it not, Jake?
I think it's a really good life skill. Similar to what you said with the Meissner technique, this idea of just reacting to things rather than acting. Acting is actually just reacting, it's listening and listening to people around us. And actually, taking it back to something you said earlier, you said that when you did a performance with children, that was a really cool thing to do. And that doesn't shock me because kids are really good at that, aren't they? They're really good at being spontaneous and being playful and not taking themselves too seriously. So what do you think are the two best life lessons everyone could learn from improv? If everyone around the world was forced to do improv, whether they liked it or not,
Yeah.
because of the life lessons, what do you think are the two biggest life lessons we could learn from it?
Yeah, so the first one is one I shared a bit earlier on, and that's make your stage partner look good. Gosh, if everyone in a business situation did that, we will have much more symbiotic, synergistic collaboration going on, to use the business terms. So that's lesson number one. And lesson number two, so there is yes and, but that comes with a coda, right? Because it's not only blindly accepting every offer. Sometimes it makes you uncomfortable. You don't have to accept them. And there was a lot of, we had a lot of, in the improv community, a lot of training after Me Too about switching away from being just an yes and robot, just, okay, yes, you're saying this, so I follow up, to actually being the idea of accepting the offer, but in a way that preserves your own dignity and your own agency. And so there is so it is essentially almost like a different way of being respectful. So you're yes-anding because you are willingly collaborating and respectful of your stage partner, and they are willing and also respectful of you. And so you are really building something together.
There's something really beautiful in that, I think, that has really changed my life when I took on that perspective of helping, putting others first. That thing
Yeah.
that you said there about kind of like raising other people up, raising your partner up. It does something to you as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I believe, and I'll tell you a secret here. I believe that's the secret to the success of this podcast. Is why this podcast is starting to do so well, because we make our guests look good, don't we, Jake? And
We try
Thank
to.
you.
well, that's literally our mission. Before we start, we say, how are we going to make this guest look good today? And that's our job here. And what it's doing is making us look good in a strange way.
Yeah, exactly.
I
It's
think
kind
so.
of like,
I think we look pretty good.
yeah, we do. We don't look too bad, do we,
Yeah.
Jake?
Oh,
But
I'm blushing.
but we're having a really good time doing that, and it's like we're, yeah, in doing so, it's like the we're kind of, I want to say, like, it's making us glow in a way.
Mm,
It's drawing more attention to us when we put the emphasis on others.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that's something that we can take out back out into the real world. It doesn't just have to be within the creative act, or it doesn't have to just be within business. This is a better way for communities to
Yes.
get on as well.
Yeah.
And so that yes and also can be quite hard for people, can't it? It can be quite hard. Oh, here's the dog. I told you the dog was coming.
Hey! Oh my God.
So she's
Who
finished
else?
her bone.
Oh
Did you
my
have something to
God.
say today, Pip?
No?
No? Okay, good girl. Yeah, you're on
Okay.
camera. That's it. Down we get.
Goodbye.
I knew she'd
Surprise
come.
guest.
Surprise guest. She'll probably be the star of the show, won't she?
Yes, no, definitely.
I
She
agree.
stole the show for good reasons.
But then when, when things like this come in, we go, yes, and there's the dog, and we'll
Mm,
carry on the conversation from
mm,
there. But yes, and how do we incorporate that better into our life? Because like you mentioned earlier about society has given us rules and structures. And I
mm,
don't know that that's just very easy for us to do sometimes, because sometimes we feel like we maybe know best. And
mm.
that's what the education system has maybe taught us to, learn all these things, and then we know best, and then we need to be a leader, and then we
Yeah.
need to be in charge. So how do we do more of yes and?
Well, improv is also a safe space in the sense that it happens on a stage or in a workshop, in a workshop room. So you're entering an arena with that, and you're entering that safe space, and you follow the rules of that space. So it doesn't mean that everything else outside is the same safe space, and you still have to
True.
defend yourself. So maybe that's trying to slowly grow the reach of the safe spaces. And so you're talking about communities. So maybe if you're running an art center, if you're running a brainstorming room, if you're running actually a business, a company, you can then define those rules. These are the rules that we abide by. This is our charter, our ethics charter. And yeah, won't apply to everything in your life, but it will at least apply to that space and that community you're building.
Yeah, I wonder if it's you say arena, and I always think that the Edinburgh Fringe, something like that, is like an arena where we all come together. And I see, when I see people there, that's a space that I see people collaborating, and that collaboration being so important to their creative act. And so you've had experience at the Edinburgh Fringe before. Yeah. What have you taken from those previous fringes that you'll be taking into this fringe? What lessons have you learned?
So last Fringe, I really had a realization about how much the audience wants to get involved. And that's because many of the shows I saw and that I loved were the ones that magically put the audience front stage, even if the show was about something else. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking of Julia Masley, that comedian who the name of the show was ha 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 ha. I think it was, I don't know how many times, I think 17 or 18 times repeated. Okay. And no, it's absolutely bonkers. And the audience was gradually dragged on stage, but everyone was kind of loving it, and there were couples made during the show, like literally, which was crazy if you think about it. And then there is Ernest with a question mark. That's the Oscar Wilde's play, but Ernest, the character who plays Ernest, is missing. So who are you going to call? Well, some of the audience, obviously. and so people volunteer, yeah, me. And then they essentially are not given lines, but they have to kind of make it up, or they're given two choices, and one of them is more obvious, perhaps. But it's really delightful to see how people lighten up. Mm-hmm. So that was a big thing. That was a big takeaway. And the other takeaway was that was 3 summers ago, was the importance of personal story, like telling your own personal story. That influenced actually how I was doing the Improbotics show. So I started in August 23 with, okay, I have this group of talented improvisers on stage. I'm the host, starting with a robot, and then I welcome them. And I was kind of in this mindset, I'm going to do science communication. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it kind of created a little bit of a separation and a rift. So as much as I wanted to endear myself to the audience, this created those two planes. And so then if I made some small adjustments to the show to actually make it about my personal journey and my personal journey with that group of friends, that immediately changed the nature of the show, I felt. So tell your own story, involve the audience as much as possible. These are already two things I noticed. And then it's so great to see other people perform. Because it's a mixture of feelings, right? You're thinking about your own show. Mm-hmm. Oh, what can I do better? But then you're rooting for them. And then you just get inspired directly or indirectly. And you also learn. I think a show that really kind of broke me was why I stuck a flare up my arse for England.
Okay.
Yes, that was actually
what a title.
Yes. So that was the story based on that infamous photograph during the FIFA Euro in 2021, where there was actually someone who actually did that in London.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, so well, you don't have to see it in person, but there were some
No, I can
photographs
imagine it.
circulating. Gosh. Anyway, but actually, it was an extremely devastating account of toxic masculinity and the sort of community that's being built, and how some people actually miss the important bit, but they still try to support one another, and it was really moving. Yeah.
Mm.
So you learn different perspectives as well. That's what's beautiful with Edinburgh, with those 4,000 shows.
Yeah, it's you know, and that takes us back to AI. That's something that you're never going to get from AI. I don't believe that.
No.
You're never going to get the human perspective. That each of those 4,000 to 5,000 shows that are at the Fringe, they're all different. There's no two are the same. AI can never give us that, because it doesn't have a perspective. It
No.
only has the knowledge of which it's been inputted with. Is there? Do you see a future where anything could change? Am I wrong? Could there be a future where we get a perspective from? Are we creating? I'm going to go a bit deeper here with AI. Actually, as I go back, are we on the horizon of creating life? Maybe that's what life is. Perspective.
Maybe even if we are, it's going to be a different form of entity, a different form of personhood, if it were to happen. So, okay, we just have. It's like you're going to watch this as you would watch dolphins swimming in, doing synchronized swimming. Okay, that's great to watch. That's fascinating. Maybe you take something out of it.
Mm.
It's not necessarily your perspective and your experience, but it may be interesting to watch.
Yeah. I guess that's similar to how we watch and interact with some of our friends, isn't it, Jake? Where, you know, some of our friends are into puppeteering, and I guess that's similar in a way, is it not? Is it just another? I guess there's still the human input in puppeteering, is there, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I wouldn't exist without it. And certainly we were talking about, you know, Martin and I, we love the Muppets. We think they're really cool.
Yeah.
And arguably, there's so much humanity in the Muppets. It's, you know, it's the thing that teaches, especially young children, a lot of really big life lessons. And the same with Sesame Street. You know, there's a lot of humanity in both of those. And there's still the human element, even if humans are somewhat removed from it. So, yeah, that's actually a really interesting way of thinking about it. I'd never thought about that before. Yeah, and I guess it's people like you that are going to help us move into this next stage, and work alongside it. And as you said, it's really important to keep your boundaries. Make sure that you have boundaries. And similar to when you said about not sometimes not accepting the yes and, but if someone, rather than just saying yes and, you're taking a second to think about how you're going to accept this prompt and what you're going to do with it, rather than just blindly going along with everything. You're able to take a second with AI and accept it in the right way and in the way that is going to be most beneficial to all of us.
Yes, I really loved your analogy. That made me think that one way you can look at AI is if there is humanity in the AI, is because it's a mirror.
Mhm.
It's not a mirror of an individual; it's a mirror of society, because it has this collective knowledge accumulated. So it's like it becomes a talking book with a little bit of imprecisions, and sometimes it makes up facts that blurs out. Philosopher Ted Chiang
Mhm.
said that ChatGPT was a blurry JPEG of the internet.
Oh,
That's
I quite like that.
Because
That's
it's
very cool.
compressed, and as it's compressed, you have those compression artifacts. So, and when you you compress and uncompress, you have this compression artifacts, and so it's not. But it does compress the internet relatively well. But yeah, it's not. It's
so
only that.
one thing that I'm concerned about as I think about AI and the way it is as we move forward is that mirror that you say. What if the direction of the mirror is pointing in the wrong direction? Because there is different sides to humanity.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that we get a well-rounded mirror rather than it just pointing to the left of humanity or the right of humanity?
Yeah. Yeah, so the biases, right?
Mm.
Well, I think that that's where human oversight is super key. So in all our shows, we actually don't take the AI suggestions right away. We always have this element of oversight, the human in the loop. So in the previous years, we're using earpieces. So the actor would get the line from AI via an earpiece, but that
Mhm.
line would be selected manually by an operator who would just look at the multiple suggestions. Then, okay, this is good. This is good. No, no, no,
Mhm.
no, definitely not that one.
Mhm.
And that was helpful. It added maybe half a second of delay, obviously, just the time to read the line and to
Mhm.
click. But it managed to make sure that okay, we took precautions in what sort of inputs we have, what sort of model we use, what sort of data we use. I trained my own models 10 years ago on open subtitles for films. And of course, some of those films were, well, I mean, films, the kind of language that you can find. And so I added filters that for words I just don't want to hear on stage to
Mhm.
begin with. And then I added other kinds of filters for more complex, offensive sentences, and offensive in the sense like, punching down, yeah, as opposed to punching up. Um, Anything that was racist and sexist and homophobic. And I added all that, but there was always this element of human in the loop. And currently, we switched to lines sent to glasses. So you have those augmented reality glasses. So the actor on stage
Mhm.
is wearing clear-looking glasses. It's quite amazing. You can see their eyes. But there is what they see is this little green text on the lens. And if they don't like the line, they just don't say it. That's
Wait, so they're seeing the lines right in front of them. That's so
literally,
cool.
literally. Actually, if you give me, it's going to be very awkward because I'm going to be rummaging for my stuff. But I can show you the
That's
Of
glasses right
course, we'd
now.
love to. Yeah, while you're looking, me and Jake will have a look. Jake, this is, you know, I think this conversation's really important because we're at turning point in history, aren't we? This is
Definitely.
a moment that generations will look back on right now and say, how did they deal with this subject? How did they come to any conclusions and move us forward? I really believe that this is maybe similar to when we first discovered fire. It's that big of a moment in human history.
I
So what
agree.
do you
You're
see?
looking very snazzy.
There we go.
Thank you. And also covered in sweat. You can see the drips one by one appearing on my shirt over the time of the interview. Gosh, it's like doing a show. But do you see this a bit of green in
Just
my
very
lens?
slightly,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm just going to bring it to the. Oh gosh, it's
Does it
not
work?
super clean.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that's what I
Wow.
see. That's what I see. Obviously, it's not connected, so that's why he's giving all those error messages.
mhm.
But
That's
these
bonkers.
glasses don't have a camera. It's literally just text, nothing else.
Yeah.
It just receives and it's connected via Bluetooth to a phone. I can tell you horror stories about Bluetooth, so I'm very worried about that thing actually on
Yes, because
stage.
I think that's one of the worries with theatre when you start to add technology in, isn't it? Things when technology works, it's fantastic, and when it doesn't, it's awful.
Yeah.
So is there a backup here, or is it purely then you move deeper into improvisation when it goes
Yes,
wrong?
we used to do a technical difficulty dance, and we have technical difficulty games, all designed to just go with flow. Oh yes, I was telling you that I was doing this robot Fringe two days ago, with over 15 robots on stage, with multiple performers coming from around the world. and it was chaired by Heather and I. And one of the performers literally had to reinstall a robotic system and took 10 minutes. So what Heather and I did, we actually just improvised a scene together. And then we talked about crazy anecdotes about robots crashing and burning at the beginning of a show. The reviewer who came to say, 2 stars, chaotic, never work with robots, and all those things. And yeah, and that was us with just our voice on stage. We were
Well,
here.
I guess that's the most important thing with theatre. It's you. This is the moment to show you, and when those things go wrong, lean into it.
Yes. The other big thing, piece of tech that we have in our show is deepfakes. We started that 2 years ago as well. So we were doing those consensual deepfakes where basically we ask an audience member to come on stage. Do you accept to be photographed and to have your image used in the show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we take a picture. We ask them questions like, so who are you? What do you do in life? What's your childhood dream? And a very nice rapport building conversation between the host and the audience member. And then, okay, wait a second, we have 3 versions of you coming up on stage. And so the actors come on stage in front of a camera, and on the screen, you see a projection of a face with a face swapped with the face of a person from the audience. And the image was live, the video was live. So they were like literally talking to the camera, like I'm talking right now, but imagine my face is replaced with, I don't know, Tom Cruise.
Whoa.
But this was from somebody from the audience. And that was amazing and scary. Like literally showing the dual use of technology, right? You can do comedy with it, or you can do something absolutely egregious. But well, I mean, there was somebody from the BBC who was in the audience, and the next day they come to the kids show and they ask us, "Hey, do you want to be interviewed? And by the way, can you deepfake our presenter?" What? Like literally, you asking me to do that? A national television channel is asking me to do a deepfake. Okay, sure. Can do that, can do.
This is what I'm saying. This is such a big moment for us, isn't it? This is our making us ask some big questions about trust.
Yeah. Yes.
Where do we look for trust now? Where do we find it? How do we know what's true anymore?
Well, critical thinking. Check your sources. I mean, I don't understand how people can, I've been building those systems for the past 10, 15 years. And, well, actually, no, I started, with language models. The first one I built was in 2008. I know how the sausages work, and I don't understand how people can use it to do, to getting references and sources. Like the whole point of getting a source is to going on foot to the library, taking the card and then checking, okay, that's the source. And then opening the book, reading the pages, and then, that's what the author said in the first edition of a book. Okay, that's good. People now just copy paste from the answer. Like it's like going to a French cafe at 7 a.m. when there is someone drinking white wine, and then asking him for the reference. And okay, all right. So, yeah, you can do that. I mean, I'm sure that Roger has very good memory and lots of culture, but I would fact check things first.
Yeah, and that critical thinking is something that's so important for us all to do right now. That's asking, and I guess that comes back to what improvisation offers us: asking questions, asking more questions rather than just accepting what we see on the face of it.
And taking accountability for how we respond to it, I guess. Just like in improv, you said, it's then up to you what you do with that information and how you respond to it. I think there's a lot of lessons that we've learned from improv today.
There is.
Okay.
There's so many, and yeah, I can't wait to see your show at the
Oh,
Fringe,
thank
PR.
you. Yeah.
Where are you going to be on? Where are we going to be able to find you and see you?
Yes, so you can come and see Improbotics presents Artificial Reality every day at 3 p.m. starting from the 15th of August through the 30th of August at Just the Tonic, which is near Cowgate on Nidri Street. We are in the Big Cave. Our day off is on the Tuesday, 18th of August. And our show is a reality TV show parody, improvised, where contestants are voted out by the audience to be replaced by AI, making the audience complicit in the human replacement project. So it is a deeply dark, critical, and funny piece about our love for celebrity culture and capitalism.
Sounds like it sounds like a really fun time, but
Yes.
also an important piece for our time right now. And so we've got one final question for you, haven't we, Jake? Oh, have I lost you there? Oh, Jake.
Oh, Jake. Oh no, Jake.
That's okay. It's Jake's signal. Jake lives out in the sticks. So
Okay.
occasionally
It
Jake's
flew
Wi-Fi
off.
goes. He has to fly off.
Yes.
Right.
But that's okay. We came. I think we might have Jake back. No, we have lost Jake. I think.
One sec.
But
I hope Jake is doing okay.
I'm sure Jake would be absolutely fine. But yes, we have one final question for you that we ask of all of our guests, because this isn't an entertainment podcast. I don't know if you've guessed. This is a human podcast about humans and about the world. And so our final question that we ask of all of our guests, Piotr, is how would you make this a better world?
Oof. Oh God. Mm. Hey, Jake. Oh,
Oh,
Jake is back.
Jake is back. We thought you had to fly off there, Jake, for a moment.
I keep up saying new recording track added. And then
That's okay. So, Jake, your signal's gone a bit funny, but I was just asking Piotr, and he had the same reaction to most of our guests when we asked the heavy question, "How would you make this a better world?" So we've just taken a moment to pause and think.
Yeah. So we already talked about a mindful acceptance of offers. And we already talked about the passion for tinkering and building things and playfulness, including with other people and with technology. And I would say there is one more thing that um, mm, is really important for me, and it's the border crossing, the boundary crossing, and embracing that boundary crossing. Boundaries in terms of not what's correct and acceptable, but rather between countries, between cultures, between ways of thinking. And there is a lot to be gained from sometimes taking an idea from one realm and an idea from another realm and combining them. I'm thinking about the beauty of Venice, which is beautiful because it's Italian and it also been inspired by Marco Polo's travels, and that's what it makes it so unique and so gorgeous. I'm thinking about all those cities that are harbors and that welcome immigrants from around the world and that become this passage point for multiple cultures. And I'm thinking about interdisciplinary artists who are making the best of one part of their lived experience and maybe another bit of craft we have developed and maybe a technical skill. I'm thinking about the beauty of languages.
Mm-hmm.
There is one show that really it's an Improbotics show that really speaks out to my heart. It's called Rosetta Code, and it's a show where improvisers are on stage improvising in multiple languages at the same time, with or without translation. And it's quite delightful to see. Yeah, we had Jenny, who was improvising in Swedish, and Marouane improvising in Arabic, and on the same scene. And of course, these languages are pretty different, so it was not obvious to guess, other than by body language, what they were saying to one another. But we had the translation of what they were saying appearing on screen for the audience. So they saw how much Marouane and Jenny were aligning or not aligning in their understanding of the context, and that was delightful. Yeah, so embracing the border crossing.
Embracing other cultures, other communities, and and you're right, Piotr. Venice is a great example of that, isn't it? As you turn another corner, there's another culture that has been grown there, and they've all collided in that one space, and it's made it special, hasn't it? And so there's definitely something that we can learn there and learn from each other.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing today. This really has been a wonderful and an important conversation.
Thank you, Martin. Thank
and
you,
I can't
Jake.
wait to see your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again, guys. And if anyone has been watching or listening to this conversation, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful time. Bye, Jake.